On Hibarito is in Austria, Calvin Coulbury, come to us from Austin, Texas. In England, Daniel Rovinsky from Minneapolis. In France, Doc Binder, former world champion Doc Binder from Tampa, Florida. In Germany, former Alpha Weasel John Gramila making a long-awaited return. John is a longtime Weasel who has taken the last couple of years off. But I think you guys have both played with him before, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to want to hear a bit of description of John Gramila from you guys when after I finish the board call here. In Italy is Zach Moore playing from Minneapolis. Zach is one of the co-founders of the Diplomacy Broadcast Network. He runs the Virtual Diplomacy League, and he is the defending Weasel Moot champion. So we have two Weasel Moot champs on this board. And actually, Doc Binder won his world championship at Weasel Moot in 2012, which means he is also a defending Weasel Moot champion. So three of them on this board. Fantastic. In Russia, we have Hal Schild coming to us from Alexandria, Virginia. And in Turkey, we have John Jamieson coming to us from Vancouver, Canada. John has gotten some playful guff from us, but he's done a lot of creative stuff, and he is a fun player to watch. Which one of you guys is responsible for the background on this board? Siobhan, let us have it.
Yeah. So we've got Calvin in Austria, who I don't remember seeing on these broadcasts before, but maybe he's been around. He's been playing for about 11 months, mostly online in every format you can think of: extended deadline, gunboat, variant maps, etc. Daniel Rovinsky has been playing for about 2 years. Again, the same, most of it online, a little bit of virtual face-to-face. This year has brought us all together. Thank you so much for coming to us. Doc Binder, as you said, former world champion, started playing this game 47 years ago.
Damn.
So 2012 Moot Champion Worlds, has played a couple of these virtual face-to-face games, so this won't be his first entry into this. John Gramila, I'm just going to sidetrack here for 1 second. My favorite story of him is the last time I was at a Weasel Moot in 2017. He and I ran the most unholy Italy-Russia alliance, which he topped at 17. And he tried to dot for an 18 at the end. And I was like, yeah, no, you can't have that. And he's like, okay, you covered your dot. I won't take the solo. We can draw now. And it was delightful. Long time Weasel. It's his first time playing virtual face-to-face. So we'll see how he adapts to that. Zach Moore, as stated, has been playing for about 5 or 6 years. Also a DBN founder. Alpha Weasel last year. So let's see if he can pull out a big result and do it. Hal in Russia has been playing for several decades, mostly online, and this year virtual face-to-face. And John Jamieson, I am not going to attempt a Scottish accent here, but he sent in a statement. Back when I was a lad sitting on old Uncle Alan's knee, he would tell tales of the magical Eddie. The Eddie lives in a land in the West, and you should never convoy him to Belgium. Wise words from Mr. Kalhammer. Wise words, indeed.
Got a little more Irish than Scottish.
Yeah, it's why I said I wouldn't attempt Scottish.
Thank you, Siobhan. Thank you so much. All right. So Doc was a fill-in last week. He came in for an Austria and quickly got eliminated. We did not count that score because he didn't really have a whole lot to do with how the game went. Zach is sitting on. He was in the 4-way split board top, pulled 20.5 points out of that, so he was tied for 15th place. So looking for a 30 in the 30 to 40 range to try to secure that spot. Hal Schild had 16 points, so just behind Zach. John had an elimination last week. John Jamieson had an elimination. We have to specify the Johns. Jamieson had the elimination last week. John Gramila did not play. And Daniel Rovinsky has 21.5, so he was another split board top, so just ahead of Zach. And then Calvin Coulbury had an elimination last week. So apart from the personalities, and Doug, I want to hear your thoughts on this board in a second, but apart from the personalities, you've got a bunch of players who need a score, and you've got a couple other players who are capable of a big score, a single big score to get them onto the top board. So Doug, what's your thoughts on this board?
Well, I mean, I think everybody's got, nobody's going to throw away here. And you've got really quality players. I think we all know from other broadcasts, and having played with him, John Jamieson can be a bit of a wild card as a player. He is not one who's going to just do what's conventional every turn. And in Turkey, that actually suits him, I think, in this game pretty well. And that can just create, if he can break out of that, he can cause some real problems going forward for other players. Doc and John and Zach are all next to each other in the center of the board. That's going to be a really interesting interplay because all of that, they could all solo this board, in the given thing. These are good quality players. John, is an example of the caliber of player he is. He soloed in 2016 Weasel Moot, in a pretty convincing fashion, a very dominating performance. I mean, if he can bring one of those out there, hard to say what'll go on. So I'll want to see what happens with France and Germany and England right away. Do they just chaos in the West, or do they move real fast and be decisive?
John is an aggressive and unpredictable player. John Gramila is an aggressive and unpredictable player and is 100% capable of soloing this board. He has the distinction of soloing in that 2016 World Championship and not making the top board.
Yeah, he was in 8th place, right?
Yeah. So
that
means he soloed and then didn't get any other scores. So go big, go home, John Gramila. It's funny. We can talk more about him as the game goes on, but this is a crazy board. No surprise that this board goes 17 or 15 years, however long it went.
Yeah.
Before we push on, I just want to say that, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Jibarito is a Puerto Rican sandwich that is used with plantains instead of bread, and it's apparently very common on the west side of Chicago.
All right, then. Thank you for doing that. All right, here is the board as it's set up. Before we dive in, I'm gonna put you guys on the spot. Who would you put your money on this board? If you had to pick one person.
Doc Binder in France is tough. If they don't clear him out right away.
Yeah, but I mean, if there's chaos there, I think John Jamieson in Turkey has a real shot.
I actually, if John had played recently and was in playing shape, John Gramila, I would probably pick him.
I want to put my money on John Gramila, but I think I'm going to go with John J.
He plays a mean Germany. John does. I've seen him play.
Oh yeah,
playing Germany. He's very effective. This is a great board. It's going to be fun to watch.
It is. All right, I'm gonna
could be anyone.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a vote in for Zach Moore, DBN co-founder.
All right, so we've got Doc Bender, Zach Moore, John Jamieson votes, and all of us kind of wanting to vote for John Gramila.
All right, we got to pick an East and a West. I don't know what you guys have done so far tonight. Have either of you done too many East or too many West?
I've been split 50-50.
I'm pretty much the same. So I think Brandon, host's choice.
All right. I want, Siobhan, I want to see you talking about John Jamieson. So I'm going to put you in the East.
Love it.
All right. Let's do some moves. Spring 1901. Siobhan, tell us what happens.
At a first glance, a whole lot of not that much. I mean, we've got the bounce in the Black Sea. We got the bounce in Galicia. There's a bounce in Tyrolia, probably also arranged. Everything else is all pretty boring. I mean, we don't see the Sunstrom opening in Turkey, but meh.
All right. Meh in the East. What about in the West, Doc?
Doc Binder with the support into Burgundy gives him play on Belgium. I like this opening in general because if you're unsure if your enemies are going to gang up on you, it guarantees that you get at least one build and can defend all of your dots at the same time. So it's a very cautious, conservative French opening, but that doesn't mean it's not a good one.
All right, let's see how it works out in the fall of 1901. And Doug, let's stay with you in the West. Got some interesting off of the ball movement here. Tell us
you got the insta move. I mean, England went to Wales in the Channel, and Germany went to Belgium, and you've got a pretty decisive move. I like that move. If you're going to get Doc out of this game, you got to move fast and hard and not mess around with it. The challenge is he's got 3 builds.
Yeah. So you said Germany went to Belgium. You meant Munich.
I meant Munich, Burgundy. Sorry, yeah. Munich to Burgundy. So they moved on him, but he's got 3 builds. So we'll see how it plays out.
And then what do you make of Denmark allowing Sweden in there?
That's my standard default. I don't see a need to irritate Russia, particularly when I'm diving into Burgundy. Why would I antagonize Russia in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, maybe let them be England's problem. All right, what about the East, Siobhan? How do things play out in fall 1901?
Well, I do stand John Jamieson in Turkey grabbing 2 builds in 01.
Yeah.
Jumping into Romania with Austria's help, which may be slightly complicated by the fact that Russia does get into Sweden. But again, I agree with Doug. I would have let Russia have it. Other than that, I mean, yeah, it's okay. Italy's in Tyrolia, and Russia does support themselves into Galicia. But that,
All right, let's see. Getting those 2 armies off into the Balkans is always fun for.
I love this. Well done, John.
But now John has to decide his builds, right? And so if the fleet had gone to black, he might have had a little bit more flexibility here. But
fair point.
Let's see. We got the army in Ankh, which is now going to take a turn to deploy, and fleet in Smyrna. So. Elsewhere, we've got pretty straightforward builds. The Austrian puts down 2 armies. We've got an army in Warsaw to try to follow up with the attack against Russia. And then, in the West, it's really what is, what is France's strategy for defense? And 2 armies and a fleet is what he comes down on. He's going to try to split the difference here and hold up against both England and Germany.
It's going to be real slow going, very frankly. You don't even care about Belgium because it's irrelevant. They only have 2 fleets against 2 fleets. This is not an attack that's going to be very successful over the long term for England. And I would actually probably focus on England as my defense. And this is a little different from the Bill Hackenbracht game where he got taken down. What I would be pitching right now is you move channel to, move up and drop down into Skagerrak and go for Denmark and try, let's go together. I'm not sure that that's a good move for England. I'm saying that's what I'm doing if I'm France.
Got it. All right, let's find out how it plays out in spring of 1902. And Doug, let's stay with you in the West here. Tell us how things do play out. Sure.
There was not a need to support yourself to the North Sea here, so I'm not sure why that happened. They convoy over to Picardy. They're similar defensive orientation as we saw last with Bill Hackenbracht, where you support yourself down to Burgundy, and they're going to lock that army into Paris to try and blow it up. So it's a strong defensive play. It's the best defensive play that you have in that situation. But in the meantime, you got in Italy that poked up to Munich. So that causes some uncertainty. You walked out of Norway and Russia walked in. I mean, hey, what's going on here? What happened to our decisive takedown?
We saw Bill perform a similar sort of defensive maneuver here where you sequester the German army and then blow it up. But in that case, it cost France Mid-Atlantic, I think. And in this case, that's not going to happen.
Right. That's not going to happen because that fleet in London is still in London.
It's useless.
It's not doing its job there. So, this is not what you want to see, I think. But good tactics by Doc to lock this in. And then the unexpected loss in Norway is painful.
And, Germany may actually end up with Belgium here. If you're France, you're probably fine with that. Germany would be putting down 2 units in that case with the rebuild and could see a nice little, reconfiguration of the West here.
Sure. And drop 2 fleets down, and then you can go take Sweden while prosecuting attack with France on England. I mean, there's a lot of flexibility for John at this point.
All right. Let us hear about the East, Siobhan.
Real quick, what stands out to me is John Jamieson immediately just leaving Romania, saying, "Hey, Russia, you can have it back," and then attacking the Austrian. So he has pivoted to decide that maybe that's where I actually get most of my units, and I think he's probably correct. He'll, well, depending on the Italian, we'll see what happens in the Aegean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, Siobhan, this feels like with that build, like they were talking about this.
I sort of thinking that this was planned all along, and yeah, you have for this season, get the 2 armies down, then we'll get into position. I kind of love it.
All right, let's see if John is able to hold on to Serbia and get a good RT going here. And he does not hold on to Serbia, but
he takes Budapest. See, and it's, the RT is working together. They knew they couldn't hold Serbia. He puts himself into Aegean, guesses right around Aegean Balkan. The Russian jumps into the black, which I'm not that worried about. Probably very arranged, get the fleet out.
Really? Huh?
I mean, at this point, like the fleet is there. What else are you going to do with it? John doesn't have the units around the Black Sea to blow it up for him. I mean, unless it's going to be put into Armenia, and then John has to shift units back, which he doesn't have the availability to do. So if they trust each other,
awfully early for that. All right, Doug, what about the West here?
Well, I mean, I love it. The West is a mess. It's fun.
Wow.
It's a big soupy mess.
John supported himself from Paris to Burgundy. I mean, using 3 units to defend one from getting blown up when you could have just let it get blown up and rebuild. Yeah. And in the process, lost Holland, but didn't retreat. He pulled the unit off the board.
Yeah.
And so now he's stuck with those armies out of position against anything England's going to do. This is really vulnerable for him right now.
Is it a good stab by England? I mean, it has to be a stab, right?
I mean, I can't imagine this was okay. But maybe they can make something of it. But, if England wants to follow this up, Germany's very vulnerable to England right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right, let's see if they do. And the answer, so presumably Fleet Eddie here.
Yeah.
And Russia drops down 2 armies in Warsaw and St. Petersburg, which a lot of flexibility with there. But if you're Turkey, you're probably glad you did not see a unit in Sevastopol.
Absolutely.
That is probably the key there. This is fascinating. Love to see what happens with this. If you're Turkey, you probably think that because of shenanigans in the north, maybe you've got some strategic protection from a stab by Russia, but Russians with a fleet in the Black Sea are very Ankara happy in my experience. So, all right. And then France pulls Picardy, but has impregnable defensive position. And also with the turnabout among the EG is probably looking pretty good right now, or feeling pretty good. But as we can see, there's a long way to go in this game. So let's keep moving forward. And Siobhan, let's stay with you in the East. Tell us what this is nutty. Tell us about this.
It was a big soupy mess in the West last time. Now it's a big soupy mess in the East. These alliances seem to shift turn to turn, and this time John Jamieson is on the losing end and is not keeping Budapest. That unit is just piffed. Tries to go to Greece. Am I seeing that right?
Yep, supports a convoy into Greece, but Greece was supported with Serbia, which was not cut by Romania. That
was not cut by Romania and was not cut by Budapest. Didn't move.
Budapest.
I mean, I know it was piffed, but that's
Budapest supported Albania to Serbia.
Ooh.
This is a place where John simply got played.
He got played. Oh, that's rough. Okay,
but he's Turkey. Certainly not out of the woods yet.
Oh no, not at all.
Or out of the game yet. Okay, Doug, tell us about the West.
A lot of those black arrows for France moving forward after the stab happens. England kind of just holding still right now. And this is good for France. Not a good situation for Germany with Galicia and Warsaw sliding over there. So Germany's in a real challenging position. Doc deployed himself with, the ability to potentially take Belgium back if he wants to. He could work with England. He could work with Germany. He's got a lot of opportunity at this point.
All right, let's find out what Doc does with that opportunity. And Doug, why don't you tell us about that?
He takes Belgium, although it looks like that was arranged. And looks like he is going to continue to work with England against Germany, who lost Munich. Russia, Hal, is very quietly having a very good game to start this game off. Nobody's messing with him, and he's growing in the West at the same time. So I'm not sure that this is long-term going to be able to be held, but we'll see. Italy's helping him.
And so, to be clear here, Romania supports Greece into Bulgaria, and but gets the coast wrong, actually. So that's an invalid order.
Yeah, and if this were handwritten face to face, I'd think maybe intentional, but I know how easy it is to misclick those coasts on Backstabber.
Yeah, indeed. Siobhan, what else? That's pretty much the main thing that happens in the West, or in the East, rather. Yeah,
that's really the only big main thing that happens. Despite the support coastal misorder, it looks like the Austrian gets into Bulgaria anyway, and Italy takes Greece from behind.
All right, so John's going down. To here, the units are already off the board. Austria is getting a build here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, only 4 on the board, and Italy is finally getting that 5th build as well. So the late breaking AI got the jump on the RT. Russia gets to put down a unit because they took Munich, which is just seems funny to me. And Italy opts for the fleet. So okay, let's keep on pushing ahead here. Oh, and in the West. We've got England and France seemingly making up quite well. It doesn't feel like Germany's long for this game, does it?
Yeah, it's going to be a struggle at this point.
All right.
It was good to have you back, John.
All right, spring 1904. Let's stay in the West. And Doug, tell us about
it. Russia just walked into Berlin and worked with Germany to try and stymie France. So the West, pretty much nothing happened. A whole lot of nothing.
All right. Tell us about the nothing in the East, Siobhan.
Mostly a whole lot of nothing. Russia does pick up Berlin, and Italy sneaks into the Aegean. Everything else is red arrows. But do I see correctly that Khan supported Sev de Bull?
Yeah, and Sev went. The question is, why didn't it get in? Because it looks
so
like... Romania... Oh, because it wasn't convoyed. Black supported it, didn't convoy it.
It's probably a misclick there.
Yep.
Yeah, something got misclicked.
Oops.
Whoopsie doodles.
All right, and so then in the fall, we get another failed convoy across the
another
Black Sea.
misclick. That has to be.
Yeah. Black convoys, black to Ankh convoys itself to Ankh.
That's
Hal misses 2 opportunities.
Yeah, there's a lot of dynamism in this game. There's a lot of shifting that's going on, which always makes for fun games. But the misclicks are really unfortunate. I think that hurts.
So then in the West, this is Germany gets back into Berlin and Munich, but loses Kiel to England
and Denmark. Kiel and Denmark.
Okay, so England's going to pick up 2 here. France is even, but well defended. Italy picks up 1, and Russia instead of building 1 is now pulling 1, or maybe
pulling 2.
Just lost.
Oh, just the 1.
Munich
Okay.
Here, yeah.
Oh, that's right. Didn't actually own Berlin.
Yeah, this was a tragic set of misorders from Hal.
But yeah, can I trade my vote to Zach Moore like Brandon did?
Yeah.
Yeah, Zach's playing well. He's in good shape.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going here. Spring 1905, and Siobhan, tell us what happens in the East.
In the East, Russia forgoes trying to convoy yet again and just supports themselves to Armenia, which would have gone support or not. gives up on the German front, pulls Prussia back to Livonia, probably to help support St. Pete in the inevitable loss of Norway. But aside from the Russian move to Armenia, nobody is actively attacking the Turkish dots.
Although it seems like it's about to happen here, yeah.
Oh, it's coming very, very soon. And just the flow of the East is Turkey's gonna go, but it takes a while to get Turkey out.
Okay. And Doug, tell us about the West. How are things moving there?
I guess that, the story that I would want to tell here is like, I'm not sure who has a strategy right now of how they're going to top this board in the West. I mean, obviously we're not involved in the conversations, but, I've seen 3 or 4 alliance switches already. Not a lot of trust between the powers. England right here is pulling back to Holland. Why are you pulling back to Holland at this moment in time? Why aren't you guys continuing to try and push forward through the center of the board if you're working together? Now I think that, France has to respond to Italy, starting to shift west a little bit. So it's difficult for me to see where these alliances are right now, and or if there are any at all, and what the strategy is to put yourself on the top of this board in the West.
You don't feel like EF is well established at this point?
No, I don't. I don't think so. I mean, Germany, is gamely trying to defend themselves. If they were really working closely together in concert, they should take Germany apart this turn. There's really no reason not to. So, instead, you've got Germany back into Kiel, and why? Now you're just sort of trying to get the dot that you already had back.
So you think England maybe is taking their eyes off Germany too quickly and going after Russia a little bit too soon?
I think that my guess here is actually it's more of a concern about France than it is about, anything else, and the lack of trust. That's going back to Holland. I don't think gets you anything there. You can convoy already from Edinburgh. You don't need to go back to Kiel. Obviously it's a retreat, but
Got it.
I would be trying to move forward.
Okay. Let's see how things work out in fall of 1905. And here are the orders. Doug, tell us what you see.
Lots of black arrows from Italy moving into the French zone. But at the same time, France is deploying correctly for that. Can he move here to vacate to Gascony to get that build down there? That's going to be needed for the defense. And you've, retaking Sweden is positive. I think that, England's actually in a pretty good spot right here. They're going to take the north back. And if they just don't mess with each other, they both have some opportunity for long-term growth. It's going to take a while, and it's a grind, which is probably why it went to as long as it did.
All right, Siobhan, tell us about the East. There is an event.
There's an event. There are things happening. I like to see some black arrows. John Jamieson in Turkey. It was nice while we knew you. Hopefully we get to hear more about your days as a young lad sitting on, it was Uncle Alan's knee. But yeah, so the Italian is pulling everything back westward, has made a decision just overall that, okay, I've gotten everything I can. I got my Smyrna, I got my Greece. Russia and Austria carve everything else back up. And Austria does move with the Italian into the middle of the board with the move to Tyrolia. But if I'm the Austrian, I'm a little bit concerned about how many Russian units are still sitting back there.
And you've got, so Russia and Austria are both getting a build here, and and Italy's not. So Italy is in position to potentially threaten France here, but there are these are all defensible. Both of these are defensible here. So Italy's going to need a third fleet over here before they can start really threatening. And Doc gets another fleet down here. So this is looking like a stalemate here. Because this game goes on, because Zach and Doc are both skilled diplomats, it wouldn't surprise me to see some negotiation here that gets them both out of this impasse and gets those units doing something productive for both of them.
Yeah, if I'm either one of those players, I do not want to spend, time and lots of units beating each other up while other people are growing. It's nobody's cracking that line on either side, really.
All right, let's see. And we got a new Austrian army as well. And that is it for 1905. Spring 1906, let's see what happens. See a lot of black arrows in the east. So Siobhan, talk to us about the flow of the board over there.
So I was worried about all of those Russian units behind the Austrian line. It appears that Russia is doing his best to move them away as fast as possible, and Austria trusts them. Khan moves away, Bulgaria moves away, Vienna goes to Bohemia, and we do take Munich, which is great. So I guess we've got an heir.
Yeah, I'll just point out that Italy supported Khan to the eastern coast of Bulgaria, and Khan went to the southern coast of Bulgaria. So maybe,
all right,
could be a little sign of trouble there, potentially.
Subtle hint from Zach there.
All right, and what are the highlights in the west, Doug?
A whole lot of nothing in the south. The key that I would flag is the German destruction there, and then you've got Bohemia taking Munich. Which is going to then be able to tap Burgundy because EF don't have enough to sort of pin Munich in place. And so, strategically, we do have a pretty strong EF, I would say, at this point, and I see an AI. So things are beginning to resolve a little bit. So you got the, 2v2 with 4 powers really sort of moving things around. I'm curious what, Hal had a really good start to this game. I'm curious, how he's going to be able to stick with it because I don't see. He looks like the odd one out here.
And we know that Zach and Hal both know that they're going to need more than 20 points, most likely, to make it to the top board. So they have to be looking for a chance to make a move here. So does anything happen here? Doc, tell us about the Western powers here.
I'm not Doc. I'm Doug.
Doug, damn it! Sorry, my brain is slowly leaking out my ear.
What looks to be potentially a stab is really about supporting Mid-Atlantic. That's what the North Sea to the Channel is there. Otherwise, I see a pretty static EF, pretty competent execution of the moves, and they're grabbing the north, they're grabbing Germany, they're still progressing. Italy has that locked down. If the dynamic is going to shift between EF, and Doc is a very good alliance player. He's very, very easy to work with, and he's confident in an alliance. Zach's going to have to do something different because he's not going to stab England while you're sitting down there.
Yeah. The détente that we had talked about is definitely not materializing. This does not look like a game that's going to go on for another 9 years, does it?
Clearly, something's going to change that dynamic. We just don't know what it is.
I'm excited to find out. Let's. All right, Siobhan, 3 units move in the east.
3 units move in the east. The air remains strong. Doug was not wrong that Russia's going to be the short one, the short end of the stick. So, what else is there to say? And I can't wait to see who stabs.
I know. All right, so England's putting one down, Russia's pulling one, and Russia pulls the Southern Fleet, which closes some options in the south, but keeps some options open in the north. England puts down another fleet here, which may be a little bit surprising. But all right, who's your bet on who's gonna pull the trigger here and light the scratch the match, whatever, light the match here?
If I was Calvin, I would be a little bit worried right now because I'm so far into the center of the board. They're not terribly far from his home centers, but it's not that hard for Italy to swing back here, I suspect. And Zach is not in a position really to get stabbed. He could, but it'd be tough to really execute a good one.
Siobhan, what do you think?
I mean, I agree. It would be tough to execute a good one there. I feel like Daniel in England is just going to get an itchy trigger finger, and that some terrible, terrible stories of Doc being a fantastic ex-world champion are going to get fed into his ear. And I'm not saying there's a good stab there, but I think it might happen.
So Belgium would be the only real target there. Maybe Kiel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not in position right now. I mean, he could get Brest, Belgium, Kiel, trade Portugal, Spain, Marseille, fight for Paris. It's not.
Yeah, I mean,
eventually.
I'm not saying it's a good idea, and I'm not saying it's going to be done well. I'm just saying that's who I feel has like the biggest trigger figure right now.
I'm gonna put a vote in for Austria hitting Russia here.
I think that's probably likely. That army doesn't serve any purpose.
Does anyone think John Gramila is going to top this board?
Always.
Does he get a build? That's the question here.
That would be amazing.
I would love for him to stay in. I think John's a good player, and I want to see him stay in. But I don't think he's long for this game, unfortunately.
No.
All right, let's find out. There's very little movement here. So, Doug, tell us about what happens around Mid-Atlantic, and then Siobhan, I'll have you tell us about what happens in the north.
Why did he move to Portugal?
He retreats to Portugal. It looks like English Channel ordered a convoy instead of a
that must be that's got to
convoyed Mao to Mao.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a really, really, really costly.
What did Spain do?
Spain supported Mid-Atlantic to hold.
But
wait a
who
minute,
cut it?
that should have been sufficient then, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is who cut it?
Spain held. Oh. So two mistakes there enabled that to happen.
So you could be really bad at the English here, but Doc.
Wow.
Yeah,
kind of you're bad. Like, I mean, yes, you could presume that it was going to get cut from Lyon or whatever, but anyway, sorry, this is Doug's territory.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right, Siobhan. You still need to order the support, even though you're going to get it. And I would use Marseille, and I would support Spain for Marseille. Make the other guy do the actual orders. Holds don't get you anything here.
Absolutely.
Although, look, Lyon should have been cutting Spain here, right?
Even still, he didn't, and so then you have the advantage because all you have to do is do those.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're Zach Moore in this moment, are you just like beyond shocked that you made it into Mid-Atlantic?
Yeah.
Under no circumstances should you get into the Mid-Atlantic. That's why you order it. Misorders happen, and I know that David Hood was alluding to this before. Is you got to write your orders. Misorders happen. If you're gonna sit on the attack, sometimes mistakes happen by the other side and you slip in, and this tragic 2 misorders is going to have a pretty significant impact in what happens in the West.
It changes the game completely, right? I mean, Italy is no longer containable here, and the north, all we get here is Russia pulling back into what Hal feels is a more defensible position.
Yeah.
So all right, let's carry forward here, see how this works out. Siobhan, tell us about the east. There is some activity here.
There is some activity. Austria goes for some dots, takes Romania, pushes up into Galicia. Gonna get stopped with Romania for now, though. I mean, we'll see what Russia pulls and how that all goes.
But
it
should be Barents, right?
It should be, but.
And all right, and then. Tell us about this. Tell us about the French homeland.
I think Doc might be mad at England here.
Doc is mad. I can see that but very clearly.
All right. Is there any reason right now, except for the fact that we know the game goes on for another 8 years, to think that Zach Moore doesn't top this board?
It's really hard to see how he doesn't top this board. He's in the Mid-Atlantic Ocean. I mean, as long as he's got a real potential to solo this board, depending on how things shake out in the West. If he can move fast, he's got real play here going forward.
Yeah.
Back to a Doug Moore quote that I quoted earlier, I think not on a game that you were actually commenting on, Doug, is you told me some years ago, if Italy is in the Mid-Atlantic Ocean, there's no reason they shouldn't be soloing.
Yeah, well, do the count, right?
Yeah. And so I made the comment earlier tonight, and it was sort of a funny comment because that Italy was not in a great position, but they happen to be in now. But this time, I think that stands.
Yeah.
All right. Let's clearly Fleet Venice, right? No question about that.
100%.
Definitely Fleet Venice.
And Fleet Trieste. Yeah.
Oh,
think.
yes.
And then they just bounce, you know.
No, it's just safety builds for a safety bounce. That's what we're doing.
All right. And Army Liverpool, definitely.
Yes.
Oh, Army London. That's actually a shocker. I thought Fleet Liverpool for sure. How do you guys feel about that?
Oh, ow. You need to put that Fleet Liverpool. I'm with you.
Yeah.
It had to be Fleet Liverpool. You have to contain Italy here.
You got to replace. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Happy birthday, Zach Moore. Does this game go on because Zach solos and it just takes him a long time to grind it out?
So Zach is chilling the champagne right now. And he's waiting to play this game long enough so the champagne is appropriately chilled. And yes, it's gonna solo.
I mean, my question here is, you know, what's Doc gonna do in this situation?
Be mad at England.
No, for real. I mean, but you know, England made an unwise build there.
Oh, that was colossally unwise. Like with an Italian fleet in the mid-Atlantic, that how do you not put a fleet or a unit at least in Liverpool?
All right. Well, at least he brought Norwegian over here.
Sure.
And okay, so Doc guesses right here. There was a 50-50 guess here.
Okay.
On which one was gonna be what was the mover? Was it gonna be Marseille or West? And he guesses right, and so there's a standoff. And now England has some, you know, 2 fleets in place, but Brest is uncovered, so he can't displace. Yeah.
Well, and you know, you might sacrifice Spain right now to take a play for Brest and basically cut a deal with Italy. You know, I also point out that, you know, Kiel just got blown up by a German army.
Oh my God. Is John going to get to build?
He needs to hold on to Kiel and leave Berlin open. And
please, I'm begging you, everyone on the board, let John Gramila build.
You guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
oh wait, no. Technically, he gets to build.
It's a rebuild.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, that counts.
No, it's not as exciting.
Well, Doc did in the West what I thought he might do, which is basically just cut a deal with Italy. You know, maybe it's not a deal. Maybe he just did it, but he did it anyway, which is just basically, I'm not defending the South anymore. And Zach here is just like, I mean, you've got to have beach ball size eyes at this point for what's happening here.
Yeah.
2 bottles of champagne.
Well, I think the clever thing here would have been to support Gascony to Brest to work out that actual deal, right?
I would have wanted that, you know, if I'm Zach. I don't know if they talked about it, of course, but I would have, if France is basically saying, hey, I'm going to Brest, I'm tired of this and I'm upset at that misorder, you know, okay, I'll give you that support.
Yeah.
And yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, actually, this didn't need to be a guess. Mid-Atlantic could have just gone to Portugal, and then you support, West goes to Spain and support hold Marseille, and you're...
you get one of them.
No, I'm sorry. No, because they tap Marseille, and then there's a bounce in Portugal. So there is still a guess.
Yeah.
But it's 2/3 chance for France with this extra option. Okay. And then elsewhere, England picks up 2 now off of France.
France. Austria picks up 2 off of Russia.
Wow.
I do see the English player in the comments lamenting this moment of regret where he realized he could have taken Mid-Atlantic Ocean right here.
Yeah. Well, but he would have lost Brest.
So many things. It's a what if.
He would have lost Brest. He still would have been building one. But the truth is, he needed to be in Liverpool. This should have been a fleet in Irish.
Should have been a fleet in Liverpool.
Right.
Would have gone to Irish.
Taking the Mid-Atlantic doesn't get you anything. All it does is push an Italian retreat north because we can't cover it.
Yeah.
So, okay, but now the situation is actually with Austria making such quick progress against Russia. It's not quite so clear now because Austria's got a lot of builds, they've got a lot of units, and they have the potential now to stab Italy and steal this great position. This might have been a case where this army in Greece should have headed up here. to one of these spots. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, you still have a build as Italy, so you can pop a unit in Venice. It is a risk. I think that you've got to if you see an army in Trieste, you know it's on. So go to Serbia or go to Bulgaria, which can't be stopped. Probably I'm going to Bulgaria either way at this point.
Yeah, either way, right? Like either Austria is a great source of dots or a potential enemy. Yeah. Okay, so we get an army Rome, which is very fun. 2 armies here, but this could all be turned against Venice very, very quickly.
Very quickly. Yeah.
All right. Let's find out. And the answer is no. All right. Let's do. Doug, tell us about the top half of the board.
We've got a lot of movement out of England here. The thing that's interesting to me, I would say, is the Franco-Italian cooperation. They just put France into Brest, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
That AI is a pretty solid alliance. England's got a pretty defensible position, not going anywhere, but I don't love, all the green fleets swinging around Spain.
Mm-hmm.
This is the turn that doesn't Zach stab here.
Here, right now.
Yeah.
You got.
Why not? Why not?
If you're going to do it, you do it now, right?
Yeah.
But if he moved to the Ionian Sea, if he was in Aegean still, or if he'd gone to Aegean, he could do it. I just don't know that you can really follow it up. You've got a lot of vulnerability in the East.
What is there to follow it up? I mean, okay, you pick up Portugal this turn. If you believe that the Austrian isn't going to Trieste, you could grab that, and you can take Bulgaria or Con.
Your challenge is that you've basically locked the West up as Italy. You're probably not moving a lot forward from here. Yeah. So what are you going to do for the rest of the game?
How did we miss these center counts? We've been focusing on Italy so much, but Italy's sitting at 8 while England's on 11.
England and Austria are actually kind of dominating. Austria will be on 11.
I've been assuming Italy was topping this board right now, but
the position makes it look like he is.
Yeah, that's funny.
Zach, that's how much we like you.
So Zach actually probably should have stabbed definitely already. And now if he doesn't, then he has no chance at topping this board.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Austria will dominate through what's remaining of Russia, will take St. Petersburg for sure.
Yeah. All right, but this game goes on, so
well, I don't think Austria is ever going to get St. Petersburg. North Sea is going to go to Norway to stifle that.
Is it though?
But
I think it pretty clearly
it should.
All right, let's find out.
Okay, Doug is right. Fine.
Wow. Okay, so I think there's a legitimate question about whether this is a stab or not. This easily could have been arranged between the two of them, and it could have been stopped, right?
Oh, to move the ball.
That's got to be arranged.
That's absolutely arranged. Nothing else follows it up.
So, and then so Italy gets into the Irish Sea. So now we're back to being like Italy's position is so good.
Go,
wow,
Zach,
it's crazy how it's just shifted, right? It's like
oh my god,
it's like a voltmeter where it's just bang, bang, bang. Okay. Now, did Austria make a mistake here by allowing Italy to take Bulgaria?
I mean, maybe. I mean, Italy is putting 2 down right now. Pretty quick, put an army in Naples, and you can convoy that to Albania immediately. Then you've got an army in Venice, and all of a sudden you're in a really strong position down there, and you're way north. I don't know. I would be setting up a bounce somewhere, like a guarantee. Hey, Tyrolia is going to Venice, big guy. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We've got.
I also love that Italy's in the Irish Sea, and England has to pull a unit.
Ouch.
England didn't
lost Brest,
but they didn't actually pull a unit, so they must have.
No,
Was it piffed?
Oh, it must have been piffed. Okay.
Or maybe they had one in the bank? Did we miss that?
Something. I knew they were down Brest, but that's
They must have had one in the bank because they built 3.
okay. Fair.
Oh yes, they picked up 3.
Right.
But
But
they
could only build 2.
because they hadn't moved London.
All right.
Okay.
Darn. Okay. Never mind. That's
Oh yeah, we
fun.
didn't fully appreciate this one, did we? Getting into Norway getting into St. Petersburg for no good reason.
For
Fetching
no good reason.
Yeah.
Because St. Pete went to Finland.
Went to Finland in order to disappear.
Well, thanks very much for playing Finland.
Yeah, Hal probably has some regrets from this game.
Yeah, and those misorders in the south were really very costly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so here is where things stand in winter of 1909. We have Austria on 11, England and Italy tied at 10. Germany sticking around on 1. Russia, we say goodnight to. Thank you very much for playing. We all still like Italy. I'm still reeling from the fact that I thought Italy was topping the board and they were 3 behind.
Not anymore, they're not.
Yeah. What do you guys still like Italy here?
I mean, I assume that those French armies will do pretty much whatever Zach wants. So, I assume so at this point. If he can figure out a way to get to the North Atlantic, if he can crack through one of this fleet line, yeah. But if he can't, and if Daniel can keep him pinned in, no more damage, then, Daniel probably has the preponderance to hold on forever.
Which would mean that Austria would probably top this board by...
Yeah, I'm a little worried that Daniel doesn't have enough armies to hold all of those places. And they're just all not in the right spots right now. I'm a little worried. I want to spend a turn and orient my forces so that I'm in a bit of a stronger position.
Siobhan, what about you?
I mean, I agree with everything Doug has said here. Getting into NAO would be absolutely choice for Zach at this moment. Loving Austria more and more. With as many problems as England is coming into.
Yeah, interesting. I still like Zach here. I think
I prefer Zach first.
Okay, got it.
Loving Austria more.
Okay. I'm going to put in a vote for Convoy Gascony to Wales here. If it either goes, assuming that Wales to Liverpool is a given, it either goes or Irish gets displaced, in which case it can retreat to either Wales or Liverpool, whichever one is open.
I like that play. I also like Irish supports MAO to NAO.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Under the same idea that you might get into NAO and have a retreat into Liverpool if England does it wrong.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just devastating.
It's an interesting set of tactical options here for Zach. He's in the catbird seat because he's the one forward and England doesn't have enough units to cover. But nothing's a given here. He could easily get stymied for several turns in a row, long enough for Austria to get the jump on him.
Yeah.
And then down here, he's actually now assuming that Piedmont can be used to protect Venice here isn't going to be used for Marseille. He can protect himself here, and then his vulnerabilities are in Smyrna and Greece and Bulgaria, these areas.
Well, but I mean, the Austrian units are so far away from that.
Yeah, but that could change very quickly. Yeah.
I mean, it could change quickly enough, but we'll see. I mean, I'm still rooting for John Gramila to wind up on 4.
I know, me too. All right. Let's move forward here. We're luxuriating a bit. Lots of black arrows. They all seem to be moving in the northwesterly direction. All right, let's just take turns doing this. We don't need to split up. So Siobhan, let's start with you here. Just give me a read of the whole flow of the board here.
I'm happy to see that Zach took the advice from myself and Doug and made the supported attack on NAO. It worked out in his favor.
Yeah.
Would not have been able to retreat to Liverpool, but didn't need to, wasn't kicked out.
And my convoy idea would not have worked. So well done.
Your convoy idea would not have worked. And yeah, England taking Brest back and everything just move it away from everyone with Austria and Italy. Except for that Black Sea that just holds.
All right, and neither Austria nor Italy are setting up for an attack on each other. So
not even a little.
Not even a little. No.
This is clearly a race to the top, and they both think that they have the upper hand. Austria because of purchase on the German home centers, and Italy because of purchase on the English home centers. I feel like if that's the split we're looking at, Austria has the advantage.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, the position in that center of the board, what I was alluding to last time, is extremely weak. That's a lot of armies right there. If I'm Austria, you can take several swings here, and you don't care. All you got to do is get one, and England's in a real tough spot.
And Serbia is a given here, but then Bulgaria would be as well. So
yeah,
this is the juice down here.
I mean, if I'm the two of them, I just set up an arranged bounce in Bulgaria, and that way, if Italy stiffs me to make a play for Serbia, then
if you're Austria, you say, I'm going to Bulgaria, let's bounce.
Exactly.
Watch the long convoy from Rome here.
To Albania?
No, into England.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, well, it can't be guaranteed anywhere, right? So question is where you would put it.
I mean, can't be guaranteed, but how beautiful would that be anyway? Convoy it into Wales.
There it goes. Clyde.
Oh my God. Yeah, okay. I see. I had a whole different plan there, but
it was a guess between Clyde or Wales, right? You had to guess which one of these was going to be the mover on this.
I was about to say take it to Wales, so I would have.
Was that right?
Wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shoot, I should have let you do that so you could have been in the wrong pool with me.
And look at France flipped again and retook Brest, piffing an English fleet. This game's hilarious.
This is amazing.
Hold on, one more thing. John Gramila retakes Kiel.
Oh, we got a build!
Amazing.
Oh, yes. Well done.
Mwah. Chef's kiss.
Yes.
We get a long convoy. We got a piffed English fleet.
Oh, my God. The convoy to Clyde is Zach. Mwah.
Yeah, love it.
This is fascinating. So England can't rebuild the piffed fleet. No, but they had 2 units piffed, actually. So they do get to rebuild one.
And they have Eddie open for a build.
Yep.
Okay.
So that is not insignificant in terms of defensive options against Italy.
England lost Kiel and they lost Brest. Both of those are piffed. Did you lose anything?
Did not actually own Brest. Took it in the spring.
Right. So
wait, England winds up on 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
He's got to build
8 units on the board. Yes, does get to build.
Yeah, he definitely gets to build. So we'll put an army down in Edinburgh. So Italy's got more work to do here.
Yeah, there's definitely more work to be done there.
Was this a mistake by Austria to let Germany get the build and not take it themselves?
No, it's John Gramila. I am happy he got the build. That's not no, I'm kidding.
No, I don't think so. You've got 5 armies around it. I mean, if it's going to help you there, it gets another army up there more quickly than you can, and you don't have anything for it to do there. So the question is, what are they going to do with that extra army or fleet if they put a fleet down?
Oh my God, a fleet.
Oh, I want to see that. I want to see a fleet.
And we haven't really talked about it, but there's an Austrian army in Picardy.
Yeah.
That's just fun.
That's just fun.
It's fun, but make it do something for you.
But I'm rooting for Fleet Berlin.
I mean, tactically speaking, England's about to lose Belgium and Holland if Germany continues to work with them. I mean, this is rough right here.
All right, Fleet Berlin. Indeed.
Yeah!
Yes.
Oh,
you know what?
Art.
I mean, I assume that was part of the negotiations and part of the reason for letting him get the build, because that fleet is, if it's effectively red, is priceless.
Priceless.
Yeah.
Austria cannot build a fleet on the Baltic Sea.
Getting one there is.
And the tactical flexibility that it provides. I mean, Denmark is either pinned in place, or you lose St. Petersburg and Denmark, and you lose your whole northern position at this point if that fleet gets out of that position. Oh, that's just
Love
lovely.
it. Well,
Okay.
and it's the fleet in Denmark now has to choose between, like, do I bounce the German out of Baltic? Do I go to North Sea to help protect the homeland? How do I deal with this? It's so many more questions.
Yeah, this is rough.
I have to say, so I think that Zach has outsmarted himself. I think he has.
No, say it ain't so.
I think he needed to. I think there have been several turns now where I think he should have moved on Austria, and I think this might potentially be his last good opportunity to have done it.
Yeah, he doesn't have anything over there. He is certainly pretty vulnerable.
If he goes to Serbia here, he puts down Army Venice. Austria is pulling one, presumably Picardy. Who cares? But then Trieste is going to fall.
And move Ionian to the Aegean so that you're forcing a decision by Austria on defending Caen or attacking Bull.
Tyrrhenian back to the Ionian to get more.
Yeah, because you don't need Tyrrhenian Sea going west. It doesn't have anything to do there.
He didn't do that. Oh, he used it for the convoy.
Yeah.
Convoy's great, but you're going to have a hard time.
How did we go from being so happy and so proud of that convoy to this moment we're like, eh?
No, I think it's awesome still.
Okay.
If you're not going to stab Austria, and it doesn't feel like they're stabbing
he's not going to stab Austria.
I think you still could have stabbed Austria. You still could have gone to the Aegean. You just would have been one turn behind with the Tyrrhenian Sea Fleet.
He could have, but it wasn't going to happen, and Austria's not going to do it either.
But Zach is not going to make the top board if he does not top this board. So,
okay, well, fair point. Awesome. I mean, we've got 4 years of play.
We've got lots of play left. So,
and I believe Calvin Coulbury he had a 0 coming in here, so he needs a score in the 50s. So if we assume the cut line is around 55, then Calvin needs to get a few more dots here, and actually keep Germany alive.
Yes.
Yep.
So. All right, let's see what happens here. And I think, Doug, is it your turn to call a whole turn?
Sure. We can do that. No stab here going forward. And unfortunately for England, that fleet did get into the Baltic Sea. I mean, trading Kiel at this point is fine. I mean, he retreats there. You can help him get back in there. So I think England's position is starting to crumble. This is a little dire. And also, Zach gets into the English Channel. They don't destroy for some reason that army in Clyde. This is grim for Daniel at this point, I think.
Well, he didn't have enough. He didn't have enough units to do it.
What did he do with Liverpool?
Supported Eddie into Clyde, but North Atlantic supported Clyde.
Yeah.
So he needed. No, this was the right thing for Zach to do to support himself in the English Channel, because now he should be able to guarantee Liverpool now.
Right, and he put himself up to Burgundy, so that
So he will have Brest and Paris. So now, all right, now let's swing the pendulum back the other way. Zach should pick up 2 dots here. Austria is going to pick up 1, maybe 2, probably 2. Should pick up at least one of London. Yeah, should pick up either Holland or Kiel here. Or
well, if you order Ruhr to Holland, supported by Belgium, and then you put Munich supports Berlin to Kiel, that's unstoppable.
Yeah, and then Baltic goes to Denmark, or even Sweden. Okay, So now we're going to have, all right. So now what happens with these two? They should be bouncing in Bulgaria. Now, absolutely, right?
They should have been doing so for a while.
Yeah, true.
I'm going to put my money on we're still not going to see it.
All right, Siobhan, tell us about this whole turn.
As expected, Munich supports Berlin into Kiel, the taking of Holland, Zach with Paris and Liverpool. It's pretty much all how we called it.
So who's going to top this board? All right? What do you build here? So, well, now Austria is up to 14.
Yeah.
So I think Zach's missed his chance. I really do. I still think it. He keeps missing his chance.
He's got 2 builds, and he needs to put an army in Venice. and he needs to put an army in Rome, and he needs that fleet in the Tyrrhenian Sea to go back the other way and stop moving west.
Austria's putting down 3 units now. No, I think it's now over. I
don't think he can stab Austria. I'm actually worried about Austria soloing.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, is can we count to 18 here?
Oh, I see. So Kiel, presumably Bulgaria, actually.
So 15, 16.
Yeah, we can count to 18.
17.
Smyrna, Greece, and Bulgaria.
Yeah.
That's 18, 19.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's not even like, yeah.
Why? Oh, so he didn't, he waived a build, Austria did here.
And there's no Army Venice. Oh, this AI is unholy.
So this is, something feels weird in general. All right, let's keep going here. We've got Italy taking Brest, putting in position.
Serbia as well. Sorry, I jumped over to the east with my eyes.
That's fine. This is now, so Austria now is well, oh God. Okay.
Wow.
All right, I'll just finish this because I started.
Yeah,
so Austria is taking St. Petersburg. Obviously, he knew it was the jig was up with Germany being so willing to help. Austria takes Kiel, and we now, is this going to end up on a 16-16-2?
It very well could.
Yeah. Am I seeing right that the count, if this center count for this year stood, Austria would be on 15, Italy would be on 14.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, just for this season. I mean, we can talk about fall.
Just for the season, yes. Italy would be on 14. Austria would be on 15.
Okay.
And
don't tell me we were playing this out to have a tied board top, because I'm going to be so disappointed in someone.
It would probably get both of them onto the top board. So,
okay, fine. Then I guess it's okay.
All right.
mean, Calvin's at 59 right now. He has every incentive to try and top this board.
Uh-huh.
Well, no, I'm sorry. It wouldn't get both of them on the top board. I don't think it would get Calvin on the top board. Calvin needs, he needs 55 plus.
He's at 59 right now. He's making
so he needs to keep this. I'm with Peter McNamara in the comments. If this winds up on 17-17, I am going to be really mad.
It shouldn't, right? Because if Austria lets Italy get that close, Italy should take it, because Italy has the fleet power in the north.
100%.
Yeah.
I really think Calvin missed an opportunity right here. If you go back for a second.
Sure.
I just want to point out, why are you self-standing in Trieste? Why don't you just take Munich to Tyrolia?
Yep.
And then support yourself to Trieste? Then you guaranteed Serbia, and you've got or Venice. I mean, you could potentially solo this game. You got to go for it. And I think you have to respect the game and go for the solo in this position, even if you lose some position elsewhere.
And remember that Austria is sitting on a waived a build. So
oh, that's right.
And they went +1 here, so they're going to still be short one.
Okay. And can we also talk about how the fact that Germany winds up on 3 at the end of this turn?
No.
Yes, they do. Denmark, Sweden, Norway.
Oh boy, that's some maze balls.
I love
it. Can't build, but love it.
Oh, it makes me so happy.
Okay. Let's keep going here. We've got England pulling a bunch of fleets, keeping Army Finland, because fuck you guys.
That's delightful.
Italy puts down 3 units, and they are 2 fleets and 1 army.
Army Venice, finally. Thank you.
That may be a little bit surprising. You could have made a good argument.
All right, we're at 15-15 right now.
And we've got 1 easy dot for Italy. Italy now, I think, has the capacity to protect these dots and possibly advance as well.
Italy, if you do the count from right here, it is, as long as Italy can keep Picardy right now, he has a forced solo.
Yeah.
This
Norway and Denmark.
God. Yeah. So clearly Zach did not miss his chance. I said that it felt like he did, but thanks to Austria's passive play here, he has reopened the door.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, this is Italy's game to lose now.
Yep.
he's got a little bit of work to do, but this is not hard. I mean, he just has to see it through if he wants it.
Yep.
Go, Zach, go.
All right. We have just Italy moving his units and Austria not.
Zach, why are you not going for this?
I think he is going for it.
It's okay, but I mean, Ionian Aegean,
Serbia all holds.
Yeah, these fleets should
like,
have been.
we could have had this year.
Go to Con. I mean, go to Adriatic. I mean,
Well, I think you go to Smyrna here, follow up into the Aegean, so you can.
What I was gonna say. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you saying you thought he had a 4 solo this year?
No, not that.
No,
year.
but I mean, based on what I've seen from Austria's moves, apparently it could have happened.
Although we did neglect to mention that there's an Austrian army in Norway, which is,
This is a very normal game. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
So, Calvin.
Okay.
Now it's just a matter of time at this point.
Takes Denmark.
So now Austria is supporting. So now Austria's. This is
Austria actively.
Yeah,
Austria supported.
Austria supported north into Denmark. There's no other way to interpret that, unless it's the expectation of a 17-17 split.
Which don't do that.
No, this shouldn't be a 17-17 split.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason at this point to do a 17-17. But they're taking it. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm very disappointed right now.
Oh my god, I am.
This is how the game ends right here.
Yeah.
Excuse me while I mute myself for a second.
Neither of these two powers has a stalemate line at this point, and Zach has a forced solo. There's no reason why he couldn't have taken this. You got to take this one.
No, it's easy to take right now.
Yeah, it's not even worth going through. It's not even worth going through the moves because it's clear, and Zach is a good enough player to know how to do this. Zach's position on the top board was largely secure for several turns, I think. And he knew, so once he got to a split board top or better, he knew that he was going to make the top board.
Yeah, I'm seeing in a back channel that this 17-17 gives Zach a place in the top 7 and puts Calvin in 9th place, which, as we've discussed earlier on the stream, may actually land him on the top board.
All right, let's put up the top 10. I think I can do that here. So here we have Peter McNamara, no surprise, getting 141. Oh, yep. He topped last week as well. He had a split top last week with Jake.
He had a split top last week and the solo today.
All right, so we know that Ali is not playing in 7th, but in order for Mitch or Calvin to make the top board, Mitch needs another person from this list.
One more.
And Calvin needs 2. Calvin should not have needed this. Calvin should have topped this board definitively. Yeah. Well, we'll come back.
I'm seeing from Brian Prabel in the back channel that everyone confirms from the top 7. I thought Ali was camping this weekend.
Yeah. All right. He'll except
Ali. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So everyone else confirms.
Okay. So then, know what? But I still want to come back. So we have confirmed that Calvin's not going to make the top 10. Not going to make the top board here. All right. Do you guys agree with me that Calvin blew this? Should have made. There were points at which Calvin could have been able to secure the top board, or do you think that it was kind of Zach's all along, and Calvin's best bet was to hope that Zach wouldn't do what he did?
Well, you should never count on the grace of your opponent when you're sitting around 16 centers to not take a solo and then get a big ol' goose egg. Yeah. Calvin probably should have gone for it when he had the help of Germany with the fleet.
Yeah.
if we kind of go to when the German fleet went on, that I think was an opportunity for him to really make a run for it, and I think he probably ought to have done so.
Yeah, Siobhan, how do you feel about this?
I don't like it. That's not a 17-17 that should have happened. Calvin had opportunities that would have made him the dominant solo threat on the board, absolutely, and they just weren't taken. And Zach at the end, I get that he got into the top 7, so maybe he didn't feel like the bad feelings of taking the solo were worth it because he was getting the top board either way, but it's a solo. Win the game the way Calhammer intended.
What would John Jamieson have done?
Exactly.
From Calhammer's lap.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's an easy question to answer. Zach not going for the solo bothers me a bit, but I don't have the solo fetish, so I don't really. And he knew he was good for the top board, so he could have gotten a better seed on the top board, which maybe could matter.
Does that play into power choice?
Yep. So
Okay.
We'll go over that on the show tomorrow morning, but the order that they finished in here will determine their seed order. And so the pair selection, you get to choose what order you want to choose your powers in, and then you choose the power. And so Peter will have his choice of where he wants to pick. If he wants to pick first, he can do that and then take whatever country he wants. And Zach, with a solo, Zach would have gone up to number 2 here. So who would have gone in as the second seed?
I mean, the 4th and Paris selection, I don't mind choosing middle of the pack there.
Yeah, I don't mind either. I don't mind so much that he didn't go for the solo, knowing that he was on the top board. I feel like he only got this board top because Austria let up and didn't take the opportunity when it was presented. I don't think, Zach played a great game. Calvin played a great game as well. They both created opportunities for themselves, but they also allowed really big opportunities for their opponents that easily could have been taken. And maybe it was good player reading to, determine that the other one wouldn't take that opportunity. And ultimately Zach got the better of that. It's hard to say. All right. So there's a palpable sense of disappointment.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing, 17-17 is incredibly rare in any version, and it requires people affirmatively wanting to do it. It is very unstable, particularly where you're not on a stalemate line.
Mm-hmm.
And so, this game, they called it, but there's so much play here. At this point, someone should be soloing this game. And I get, why you might want to take a draw right there. But I think that, all I can say is I would have gone for a solo. They played really well, and they played really well together. And I know it's really hard in this situation not to stab. But if you're going to take this draw, then you need to have locked a line down and left a third party in this to sort of ensure that you didn't go to this. Both of these players trusting this is, be careful you ever do that again, because the likelihood is that you will not get this result.
Yep.
100% agree.
Okay. Learning experience for Calvin. Well done for defending Weasel Moot champion Zach Moore. He did what he needed to do to make the top board. And
still go for the solo.